German sickness rates remain at a very high level. In Nigeria, Yobe records 85 deaths, 25 recover in 4 months from cerebrospinal meningitis. All neighborhoods in São Paulo have a dengue epidemic, says Bulletin. Razor Incorporated. German sickness rates remain at a very high level. In Nigeria, Yobe records 85 deaths, 25 recover in 4 months from cerebrospinal meningitis. All neighborhoods in São Paulo have a dengue epidemic, says Bulletin. Razor Incorporated to pay more than $1.1 million for misrepresenting the performance and efficacy of supposed N95 grade Zephyr face masks. HSBC boss Noel Quinn steps down as bank reports first quarter profit that beat estimates thanks to sale of Canadian business. In Kenya, over 42 people dead after Kijabe Dam burst its banks. At least 25 dead in Peru after bus plunges into ravine. Embattled groceries startup Getir exits the US and Europe will refocus on Turkey. WeWork agrees restructuring deal that shuts out Adam Newman's comeback bid. KFC faces battering over Palestine in Malaysia. Over 100 units shut. Colleges from Columbia to UCLA try suspensions. Talks to quell campus protests. Protesters at McGill pro-Palestinian encampment are staying put despite warning for them to leave. AP reports that college protesters want amnesty. At stake, tuition, legal charges, grades, and graduation. China cuts air pollution after reimposing winter controls, announced Korea. U.S. energy-related CO2 emissions decreased by 3% in 2023. Renewable energies cover 56% of electricity consumption in Germany in Q1. Half of all copper mining is at drought risk with climate change. BHP, Vale offer Brazil $25.7 billion payment for dam disaster. Soybean crops take over Brazil and threaten production of rice, beans, and cassava. Southeast Asia heat breaches records and prompts gas buying, as Thailand's heat index tops 52 degrees as Philippines risks overloaded power systems. G7 agrees to shut down coal plants by 2035, UK minister says, in climate breakthrough. Bangladesh again closes schools nationwide due to heat wave. Former NSA employee who tried to spy for Russia sentenced to 21 years, and German former army officer admits spying for Russia, blames fear of nuclear war. France says, almost all EU states target of Russian propaganda, and EU to probe Meta over handling of Russian disinformation. Von der Leyen criticizes European far-right for being Putin's proxies. Polish protesters lift blockade on all Ukrainian checkpoints, and Poland ready to host nuclear weapons, declares president, prompting response from Moscow. Latvians told to turn basements into bomb shelters amid fears Russia could target Baltic states next. Finnish carrier suspends Estonia flights after GPS interference prevents 2 landings. World War I tactics make a comeback as a Ukrainian gunner in the back of a propeller plane shoots down a Russian drone. Italy has given Ukraine long-range missiles, says UK Defense Minister. NATO chief chides members as Ukraine's allies say slow arms deliveries have helped Russia. Texas governor says state will ignore illegal Biden Title IX revisions, and Texas sues Biden administration over expanded protections for LGBTQ+ students in conservative-friendly court. Slack co-founder Stuart Butterfield's missing kid Mint, 16, found in van with man, 26, who now faces kidnapping charges. Florida school failed. Ticking time bomb, teen who beat teacher's aide over Nintendo Switch, his lawyers claim. In Canada, worried about foreign workers, conservatives demand details of $15 billion Honda EV deal. EU's unwinnable price war with Chinese EVs summed up, BYD cars are 11 folds more profitable in Europe versus China. German politicians stall EVTOL loan guarantee approvals. Indian government accused of trying to kill Sikh activists in US. In Japan, as per a poll, 62% in favor to policy accepting foreign workers. I gave money to AMLO, confessed El Grande to PGR and DEA. Argentina's monthly CPI to fall below 10% in April, Milei says. German inflation rate holds steady at 2.2% in April. No magic in it, P. Chidambaram says. India will become world's third largest economy irrespective of who is PM. Scotland's leader resigns after split with Green Party over climate change, other conflicts, as Scotland's pro-independence First Minister Humza Yousaf resigns after 1 year, rather than face no confidence vote. UK will not take back asylum seekers from Ireland until France takes back Channel migrants. Solomon Islands pro-China leader Sogavare exits PM race, ABC reports. Collection agency FBCS says data breach exposed nearly 2 million people. Canada's London drugs keep stores closed after cyber issue. Hong Kong's arts financing body reports cyber attack on its systems, but says no data leak detected. NHTSA opens investigation into Ford's Blue Cruise after software linked to fatal crash. Biden administration to require advanced safety tech on all new cars and trucks. Average cost of UK car insurance rises by 1/3 in a year, analysis finds. NIST announces new initiative to create systems that can detect AI-generated content. Google sued by US artists over AI image generator. China unveils Sora Challenger able to produce videos from text similar to OpenAI tool, though much shorter. Former NBC News disinformation reporter becomes CEO of The Onion. Hunter Biden demands that Fox News remove intimate images from its platforms. Daily Mail admits making up story about electric vehicles causing potholes. Nearly a month ago, British tabloid Daily Mail had commented as heavier cars are blamed for the £16 billion cost of Britain's pothole plague as crumbling roads reach breaking point. Sundar Pichai led Google layoffs entire Python team and offshores work to Munich as Google lays off staff from Flutter, Dart, and Python teams weeks before its developer conference. iPadOS identified as digital gatekeeper under new EU tech rules, and Epic Games says it will bring Fortnite to iPad after EU dubs iPadOS a gatekeeper under DMA. Motherboard makers apparently to blame for high-end Intel Core i9 CPU failures. TikTok's effort to hide US user data from ByteDance only focused on the front door, former workers claim. Supreme Court rejects Elon Musk's challenge to SEC agreement to vet his social media posts. FCC fines AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon nearly $200 million. For illegally sharing location data. Active volcano in Antarctica spews tiny crystals of gold worth $6,000 a day. Reforestation study finds only a few tree species can survive a century of rapid climate change. Hornets found to be primary pollinators of 2 Angelica species. In the U.S., winner of $1.3 billion Powerball jackpot is an immigrant from Laos who has cancer. Mexican man wins case against Cartier after buying $13,000 earrings online for $13. Nebraska brothers sucked out of their home by a tornado survive to tell the tale. U.S. implicates 5 Israeli units in rights violations before Gaza war, no restrictions on assistance. U.S. military's Gaza aid appear to cost $320 million, nearly double initial estimate. Ahead of visit to Israel, U.S.'s Blinken presses Hamas to accept new proposal for Gaza ceasefire, as Hamas receives proposal to release 33 hostages in exchange to ceasefire. 40 days of ceasefire offered to Hamas, says UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron. Interactive Brokers introduces Hong Kong spot Bitcoin and Ether ETPs as Asia's first spot Bitcoin. Ether ETFs start trading in Hong Kong. Bloomberg predicts Bitcoin ETF's approval and listing on Australia's biggest stock exchange by late 2024. New court filings show SEC Chair Gensler believed Ethereum was a security for at least a year. Von der Leyen says, completely unacceptable for Israel to attack Rafah. 4 out of 5 Americans favor Israel over Hamas, most back Rafah operation, as per poll. Abbas says only U.S. can halt Israel's attack on Rafah, expected in days, and reportedly, Hamas to consider ceasefire and hostage release proposal that Israeli sources say could avert Rafah invasion. The Daily Show, with return host Jon Stewart, confirms plans for 2024 Republican and Democratic conventions. NBC prepares $2.5 billion a year bid to pluck NBA rights from TNT. NASA's optical comms demo transmits data over 140 million miles. Cillian Murphy's Peaky Blinders movie to have a massive budget. Stephen Knight hopes to shock and delight fans with the last chapter. Scooby-Doo live-action series in the works at Netflix. Russell Crowe, Rami Malek and Michael Shannon Nazi historical thriller Nuremberg to launch sales through WME Independent in Cannes. Eminem becomes Crypto.com celebrity spokesperson, replacing Matt Damon. Conor McGregor's Hoth hotel plans refused by council as local opposition feared. Ibiza-style party venue. Russian arrest warrant issued for former chess champion Garry Kasparov. Russia to enforce crypto restrictions, exempting miners and central bank projects. Wasabi wallet developer blocks U.S. citizens and residents after Samurai wallet arrests. Stablecoin trading volume outpaces Visa's 2023 monthly average. Sanders says, "There's not any doubt Netanyahu is perpetrating ethnic cleansing." The memo claims that potential arrest warrant for Netanyahu gets pushback from White House, as Netanyahu tells Biden he's worried about possible ICC arrest warrants. U.S. warns ICC action on Israel would hurt ceasefire chances. Israel kills Islamic Revolutionary Guard's core operative in Iran, claimed in the report. Houthis attack Israel-linked ship in Indian Ocean, 2 U.S. warships in Red Sea. UN experts say North Korea missile landed in Ukraine's Kharkiv and U.S. defeat in Ukraine only matter of time, says North Korean Defense Ministry official. Ramzan Kadyrov appointed his 16-year-old son as curator of the private Special Forces University named after Putin. China launches first of the 8 Hangar-class submarine built for Pakistan. Protesters call for Islamic State in Germany. Caliphate is the solution, and Germany's Scholz calls for consequences following Islamist rally. The Taliban are working to woo tourists to Afghanistan. Women win urination equality fight in Amsterdam. NATO Secretary General in Kiev announced that Ukraine is on an irreversible path to NATO. Support will continue. NATO has had no designs against Russia, will never have them, Blinken claims. Duchess Sophie visits Ukraine in first trip by a British royal since start of war. Tucker Carlson interviewed Putin's ideologue, whose daughter was murdered. Jerry Seinfeld says TV comedy is being killed by the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people. It's all in the smile. Aston University-led research finds politicians can influence voters with facial expressions. U.S. extends authorization for some energy transactions otherwise subject to Russia sanctions. Western banks in Russia paid €800 million in taxes to Kremlin last year. White House eyes Russian uranium import ban while House bill stalls. China-linked, muddling meerkat hijacks DNS to map internet on global scale. Taiwan semiconductor firm KYEC to exit mainland China amid geopolitical tensions. Changes in cross-strait chip supply chain. AI priest quickly defrocked after giving users oddball answers, taking confessions like real clergyman. New R programming vulnerability exposes projects to supply chain attacks. Sandbox escape vulnerabilities in Judge Zero expose systems to complete takeover. Google prevented 2.28 million malicious apps from reaching Play Store in 2023. China now home to 369 unicorns, with an average value of $3.8 billion, led by AI and semiconductor firms, report says. Tether buys $200 million majority stake in Brain to computer interface company BlackRock Neurotech. Tencent has increased its shareholding in Remedy to almost 15%. Russell Brand says, baptism is opportunity to leave past behind amid sex assault allegations. Gerard Depardieu will stand trial in October for sexual assaults on film set. Ethan Hawke lost the